Hi, I'm Steve Morgan, and I just wanted to spend a few moments reflecting on a thought about risk-averse decisions. Sometimes referred to as covering your back or covering your arse, depending on your anatomical preference. But it also reminds me of a phrase that was said to me by a friend on the very first day that I started my town planning career back in the late 1970s. I turned up and this senior individual said to me, "Hey fella, welcome. You can forget everything you've ever learned in 4 years of university, because this is local government and we're all about bureaucracy and cock-up theory. And your job is arse end surveillance," which was his way of saying your job is to make sure you cover your back. So that got me thinking, is there actually a place for risk-averse decisions in positive risk-taking? Because in my health career I'm constantly hearing practitioners talking about how decisions are made in a risk-averse way, primarily to support senior managers in the organisation to cover its back or cover its arse. So what about positive risk-taking? If we take my particular definition, the starting point is about weighing up the pros and the cons, or the benefits and the harms of the options that are open to us. Well, don't be at all surprised if you follow that through logically as a very structured approach, that on occasions, probably the rarer occasions, the cons or the harms are what will outweigh the pros or the benefits. And so logically the risk-averse decision is the right decision to make. If I was to think of a brief example, then from dementia services I can think of a guy who, given a choice, definitely wanted to stay at home, even though everybody around him felt that his condition had deteriorated to the point where he needed much higher levels of care and support. Normally the services would be listening to the person trying to deliver on what it is they particularly want. But in this instance that I'm thinking of recently, it was a person whose condition had deteriorated, but he'd only been living in what he defined as his home for the last couple of years. Family were many miles away. He had little social networks and little knowledge of the local area, and was increasingly becoming targeted by other individuals in the local area, robbing him of what little money he had. So in that situation, following the structured approach, then the clear decision was the risk-averse decision, if we take into account what he wanted. So ultimately that's what we're doing. I'm developing, or have developed, many resources that help to support you to make that structured decision. But that is my suggestion, that we follow best practice by following the checklists, the guidance that will enable us to come to a very clearly reasoned decision. And the idea is that those decisions will mainly be positive risk-taking decisions supporting your confidence, but just occasionally it will be leading you to the more risk-averse decision. So I'm Steve Morgan, and I'm here in the Castle Arcade in the centre of Cardiff, leaving you with the main message of support people to define those positive outcomes so that you can help them to take the risks, but follow the same approach on the occasions when arse end surveillance is needed to put into practice.